Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So, what we are seeing, what we are seeing in Trinidad and Tobago today is, I would say, is unprecedented. I would say it's reckless, and I would go as far as to say it's utter insanity. Because for decades, our survival strategy has, as a small nation, as a small island nation, our strategy has been simple. Stay neutral. Stay neutral. Because we cannot afford to pick sides. We cannot afford to pick sides between global powers. Why? Because the moment we do, we ourselves become a target. So it doesn't take a rocket science to work out. We are not in any position to defend ourselves. So when our Prime Minister makes a decision to openly support America, when she makes a decision to openly celebrate America's strike in the Caribbean on an allegedly a drug boat, and to call for all traffickers to be killed violently, it's not just reckless rhetoric, it's a shift. It's a shift that puts us, Trinidad and Tobago, directly in the crosshairs of Venezuela. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why that is. I want to be very clear with you. Of course, no one supports drug trafficking. No one in their right mind supports drug trafficking. So let's get that clear firstly. Now, Trinidad, as you know, has no military strength. We have zero military strength. We are completely incapable of defending ourselves. That's the reality. So if Venezuela retaliates against us, who do we run to? The United States? Under Donald Trump? America has repeatedly shown it does not care about Trinidad and Tobago. They barely know who we are. They literally warn their citizens not to travel to Trinidad and Tobago because it's, in their opinion, too dangerous. This is coming from America, one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Not to travel to our country. So depending on America is a fantasy. Depending on America is a fantasy. Depending on Caricom, our regional diplomacy and neutrality has always been our best survival strategy. It's just common sense. It is just common sense. So here's the facts. And please like and subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network. We are fastly approaching 11,000. Please like and subscribe, and I will do my best to bring you the best content possible. So here's the facts. On September the 2nd, the United States forces struck a boat they claim was carrying drugs linked to Tren de Agua, a Venezuelan gang that Trump talks about repeatedly. And in doing so, they killed allegedly 11 drug traffickers. Now, there's been no evidence, nothing was presented that the drugs were bound for Trinidad, that the drugs were bound for the United States. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, suggested that they were likely heading to Trinidad. There is no evidence to say that. This is speculation. There is no proof there was drugs on the boat. There is no proof of anything. The only proof is what the United States and Donald Trump and Marco Rubio has said. There is no proof there was even drugs on this thing, this jet boat, whatever it was. Now, other Caribbean leaders were cautious, should I say. Barbados Foreign Minister Kerry Simmons demanded proper Caricom consultation and demanded advance notice of any future operation. Now, this is just logical, but we are apparently dealing with an illogical, or a bunch of illogical leaders in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, condemned the strike, calling it a murder and a breach of proportionality. Now, based on the evidence, which we haven't seen, other than the jet boat being hit, there is no evidence to say there was drugs. And Trinidad's prime minister has doubled down, aligning us with the US military aggression, which puts us in an even more catastrophic position. I cannot begin to tell you how bad this is for us potentially. This is unprecedented. This is why I say this is unprecedented. Now, breaking down the nonsense, now let's look a bit closer at why this story completely does not add up. Number one, a speedboat of that size and capacity was never going to make it to Trinidad, let alone to America. Highly unlikely that it was going to make it to America. The geography, the distance makes it implausible. That's the first obvious sighting. Number two, drug-running speedboats don't typically carry 11 or 12 people on board. That alone raises serious doubt about who was really on board this speedboat. We've got, like I said to you, so far there's been no evidence of anything other than what the United States has said. They've provided no evidence of drugs, of who was on it, apart from their claim. Number three, why did the US Navy, or why does the US Navy need 7 warships to intercept speedboats? That's not a drug bust. That's, as we know, it's gunboat diplomacy that is what's happening here. It's intended to be a show of force. There's nothing. I mean, to insult our intelligence this way, I find it insulting. The entire thing is riddled with contradictions, and yet our prime minister is celebrating it and cheerleading Washington's narrative. Why? I'm still trying to work out exactly why she's doing this. It cannot be simply incompetence. It cannot be simply incompetence. Now, the danger to Trinidad, the danger to Trinidad here is the reality is, by siding so openly with Washington, we have antagonized Nicolas Maduro. Venezuela is our literal neighbor. They are our literal neighbor. Their military will destroy us literally overnight. Their coastline, their coastline borders ours. It borders our coastline. And their government already distrust Trinidad and Tobago because of who we have in charge. Now, as we know, I've said to you already, Trinidad has no military capacity to defend itself. We have no military capacity to defend ourselves. If Maduro chooses to lash out, we will have nowhere to run. Simple as that. America is not coming to save us. America is not coming to save us. Washington has no obligation to defend Trinidad and Tobago. And history shows they put United States interest first. This is what this is about. Why have 7 warships in Trinidad on the coast of Trinidad in Venezuela? Why have 7 warships to tackle speedboats carrying drugs? Gunboat diplomacy. Look it up. Now, the regional contrasts here, notice the difference. Notice the difference. The regional contrast here is this. Barbados and Caricom are calling for diplomacy and consultation. Yet, Trinidad is out here antagonizing Maduro in Venezuela. Colombia condemns the strike as unlawful. And they are right. Meanwhile, Trinidad is standing alone. We are literally standing alone here, celebrating US actions and ignoring regional solidarity. We are literally on our own here in this part of the world. There is no other island that's backing or taking the route we are taking, or backing the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in her stance. I have not seen a single island backing the stance we've taken. So what happens next? The risk for Trinidad. Let's be realistic. Maduro, as you know, is unpredictable. But history has shown us the likely consequences of this for Trinidad and Tobago is economic retaliation from Venezuela. They could weaponize trade or energy supplies. They control, and remember, they control massive oil and gas reserves and could easily make life difficult for Trinidadian businesses. Right? That's number one. Number two, the diplomatic pressure. Maduro could move to isolate Trinidad internationally. He could move to isolate Trinidad internationally, framing us as Washington's puppet in Caricom and at the UN. So this is the game we're playing here. Once we lose neutrality, we lose leverage. Once we lose neutrality, we lose leverage. This is why this is so dangerous. Number three, military intimidation. I've already mentioned. He doesn't need to invade. A few naval patrols or military exercises near our waters would send a clear message. With no real defense force, Trinidad would be humiliated and exposed. Believe me, we would be humiliated and exposed. So in closing, I want to say this. By celebrating Washington's strike, our leaders have literally gambled with Trinidad and Tobago's security. Neutrality is not cowardice. Neutrality is not cowardice. It's smart. It's survival. It's literally survival. For small nations like ours, we need to lose the ego. For small nations like ours, siding with one superpower against a nation like Venezuela is potential suicide. Diplomacy, Caricom solidarity, and neutrality are not optional. They are not optional. They are the only way to protect Trinidad and Tobago. The only way to protect Trinidad and Tobago from being crushed in a fight that does not belong to us. So I'd end this by saying this is why your vote matters. This is why your vote matters. Because leadership that gambles with our national security without consultation, without strategy, and without foresight is leadership that has lost its way. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe. I hope this calms down eventually. It doesn't look like it's going to calm down anytime soon. I really do hope for our sake it does. This is why your vote matters. This is why it's important. And we're learning the hard way. Let's see how this transpires. Let's see how this carries on. Let's see how, hopefully, like I said, it does calm down. And I'll see you guys on my next video. For now, much love. God bless. Take care. Look after each other. Peace.